Winning the lottery sounds like a dream, until you realize some winners treat millions like pocket change. From blowing it all on bling to trusting the absolute worst people, these are the dumbest lottery winners who turn fortune into failure. Get ready to laugh, cringe, and scream. How do you even waste that much money? Let's count how fast millions turned into madness. 1. One guy in Texas won $10 million and decided the best financial move was to build a miniature replica of his town in his backyard. He hired construction crews, bought tiny cars, and even made a fake gas station. The project cost $3 million before he realized he couldn't even fit inside his own fake house. By the time the toy town was finished, his real bank account looked like a ghost town. He threw a grand opening for 2 friends, one raccoon and his bankruptcy lawyer. Dreams of being a real estate mogul turned into the world's most expensive sandbox. 2. After hitting a massive jackpot, one woman bought 20 golden toilets because she wanted her bathroom to feel rich. She didn't realize gold scratches easily and clogs easily too. Plumbers charged her thousands just to keep the sparkle flowing. Eventually, she had to replace them all with regular porcelain ones. Her friends started calling her the Queen of Flush. She spent nearly $1 million on toilets and got nothing but plumbing nightmares. The dumbest part? She still bragged about it in interviews. Proof that some people really can turn gold into crap, literally. 3. A guy in Florida spent his entire lottery winnings opening a theme park dedicated to himself. He called it Larryland. It had rides named after his favorite foods and a giant statue of him eating a cheeseburger. The park opened once, nobody came, and he shut it down the same week. By the end of the year, he was living in a trailer parked outside his own broken Ferris wheel. Locals called it Larry's last ride. Millions gone, reputation ruined, and 0 visitors. The only ride that lasted was his ego dropping straight to the bottom. 4. One woman from California bought a dozen luxury cars even though she couldn't drive. She just wanted them to look good in the driveway. She hired chauffeurs to start and move them daily so they didn't get bored. Her neighbors thought she owned a dealership. The insurance bills alone wiped out half her winnings in a year. Eventually, she sold them all for a fraction of what she paid, but not before crashing one while learning to drive. Turns out, a license is worth more than a Lamborghini when you're this dumb. 5. A young guy won $50 million and told reporters he'd never change. 2 weeks later, he bought a private island and renamed it after his dog. He built statues of the dog everywhere and even hired a chef to cook for it. The chef quit after realizing the dog ate better than he did. When hurricane season hit, the guy refused to evacuate because rich people don't run. The storm wiped out everything except one golden dog statue. He's now broke, but still brags that his pet had beachfront property once. 6. A woman in Nevada won $5 million and decided she wanted to feel like a queen. Instead of buying a house, she spent nearly all of it renting a castle in Europe for 1 month. She filled it with fake servants, fake crowns, and a dozen expensive gowns. She even threw royal dinners for herself every night and made her friends address her as Her Majesty. When the month ended, she had just $2,000 left in her bank account and a massive credit card bill. Her royal reign lasted 30 days, but her peasant life returned right after the final feast. The crown jewels didn't sparkle as bright after the rent came due. 7. A man in Florida won $15 million and instantly thought he was smarter than Wall Street. He decided to create his own cryptocurrency called Lotto Coin. He hired a bunch of random coders online and launched it with a live stream from his garage. He bought a Lamborghini with the company logo before even releasing the token. Within a month, the market crashed, his investors disappeared, and the IRS came calling. His $15 million turned into $50,000 overnight. The only thing more worthless than his coin was his confidence. He went from crypto king to coupon clipper faster than you can say blockchain. 8. A couple from Arizona won $6 million and promised to use it responsibly. 2 weeks later, they started their own UFO investigation company. They bought night vision goggles, a private jet, and a radar system to catch aliens. They even made matching jumpsuits with their faces printed on the back. After a year, they had found nothing except empty skies and bankruptcy papers. The husband now gives alien tours in the desert for $20 a head. claiming he once saw a glowing orb shaped like a pizza. Maybe the aliens took their money too. 9. One guy in New York won a massive jackpot and decided to buy the world's biggest television. He ordered a custom screen so large it didn't fit through his front door. He paid to have the roof removed just to get it inside. A week later, his power bill tripled and the screen cracked because of the heat. He tried watching the news on half a picture until the whole thing went dark. Now the TV sits in his living room like a broken monument to stupidity. He spent $250,000 to watch static. The entertainment industry salutes his sacrifice. 10. A man in California won $20 million and decided to buy a private jet. The problem was he didn't know how to fly. He refused to hire a pilot because he wanted to learn hands-on. On his first attempt, he drove the jet straight into a fence before even leaving the runway. The repair bill cost $200,000, and the plane never flew again. Now it sits in his backyard as a conversation piece. He calls it his $1 million lawn ornament. If confidence could fly, he might have made it off the ground. 11. A woman in Texas won $3 million and bought a restaurant just so she could eat for free. She fired the manager, hired her friends, and filled the menu with her favorite snacks. Within months, the food was bad, the staff quit, and the business collapsed. She ended up spending $500,000 to buy back her own leftovers at an auction. Now she tells people she once owned a restaurant chain, even though it lasted shorter than a pizza delivery. Some people dream of success, others deep fry it. 12. One guy from Chicago won $10 million and immediately bought a billboard to thank himself. It showed his face, a thumbs up, and the words, "You did it, legend." He paid for 5 more across the city. Then he got fined for blocking traffic because people stopped to laugh and take photos. He spent nearly $200,000 promoting his ego and got roasted on local news. Months later, the billboards expired, and a fast food chain replaced them with ads saying, "Want to waste your money? Let's try our fries." Even the marketing team trolled him. 13. A man from Louisiana decided to use his winnings to become a magician. He bought props, smoke machines, and even hired doves. His big trick was supposed to be disappearing debt. The only thing that disappeared was his money. He spent $2 million preparing for a Vegas show that lasted one night before closing. The reviews called it financially tragic. Now he performs birthday parties for $50 and uses fake coins instead of real ones. His greatest illusion was making millions vanish in record time. 14. A woman in New Jersey spent her lottery winnings creating a luxury farm. She built a mansion for goats, installed marble floors in the barn, and even hired a stylist for her pigs. She posted everything online to show off her high-end herd. The animals hated the polished floors, slipped everywhere, and destroyed the furniture. She lost over $1 million and ended up moving back to her old apartment. The pigs are now the only ones who live like royalty. The farm's Instagram still exists, now renamed the Broke Barn. 15. A young man from Ohio won $8 million and opened a nightclub themed entirely around himself. The walls had his face printed on them, and the drinks were named after his moods. He even hired a DJ who only played songs with his name in them. Opening night had 500 people, but after 2 weeks, nobody came back. The club lost money faster than he could print his selfies. Now it's a laundromat, but his name still glows faintly in neon above the door. The only thing that stayed lit was his ego. 16. A man in California won $5 million and decided to buy his favorite fast food restaurant so he could eat free burgers forever. He replaced the employees with his friends and added a VIP section with golden booths. Within 3 months, the place was a disaster. Orders got mixed, food went cold, and his friends started eating more than the customers. Health inspectors shut it down after finding a fryer full of dollar bills. He ended up broke and banned from every branch of the same restaurant he once owned. His dream of endless fries turned into endless regret. That's what happens when your business plan is just hunger with confidence. 17. A woman from Florida won $10 million and decided she could control time. She spent half her money building a room filled with clocks, mirrors, and flashing lights because some YouTuber told her energy could reverse aging. She meditated in there daily, convinced she was getting younger. A year later, her electricity bill looked older than her. When the power company shut it off, she finally realized she couldn't even control her budget. She's now back to working part-time at a beauty spa, still telling customers she once spent time. Turns out the only thing she reversed was her bank balance. 18, one guy in Arizona won $20 million and decided to become a movie star overnight. He funded his own action film called Cash Explosion, starring himself as a secret agent who fights taxes. He hired a random director, bought fake explosions, and filmed half the movie in his garage. The acting was so bad even his mom left the premiere early. Critics called it a disaster only money could make. He spent all his winnings on that one movie and now sells DVDs at flea markets for $5 each. Hollywood called once to say never call back. 19, a woman in Georgia won $8 million and turned her home into a private zoo. She bought camels, flamingos, monkeys, and even a baby alligator. She thought it would make her a local celebrity. It made her a local headline instead. The animals escaped 3 times and her neighbors started calling animal control weekly. The monkeys destroyed her kitchen, the flamingos lived in the pool, and the alligator bit her couch. By the end of the year, the zoo closed, the animals moved out, and she moved into debt. She learned too late that wildlife and Wi-Fi don't mix. 20, a man in Nevada won $15 million and decided to make a theme restaurant dedicated entirely to bacon. Every dish, every drink, even the air smelled like bacon. People came once and never again. Customers complained their clothes reeked for days. Health inspectors called it a fire hazard. He tried adding bacon-scented candles as souvenirs, but ended up burning the place down accidentally. The headline read, "Bacon King Fried by Own Grease." He went from sizzling success to crispy failure in 1 year flat. Some dreams smell great until they start smoking. 21, one man in New York bought a mansion with a 40-foot indoor waterfall because he wanted nature inside. It flooded his basement every week and destroyed his furniture. Maintenance cost $20,000 a month, but he refused to shut it off because it sounds peaceful. He lived there for 2 years until the floor collapsed and insurance refused to pay. He sold the house for pennies, saying he learned to respect gravity. Somewhere in that house, a fish is still living in his old couch. 22, a woman from Texas won $7 million and became obsessed with her childhood dream of being a cheerleader. She used her money to start a professional cheer team for adults called the Lucky Charms. She hired a coach, rented a stadium, and bought matching glitter outfits. Nobody showed up to auditions except her friends from high school. After one game, the project collapsed. She spent nearly $1 million to live out a 3-minute halftime show. Now she cheers for scratch-off tickets at the gas station. Dreams come true, but they come with taxes. 23, a man from Kentucky won $9 million and started a luxury dog clothing brand. He called it Posh. The clothes included silk pajamas, diamond collars, and tiny leather jackets. Celebrities laughed but didn't buy any. His launch party had more barking than buyers. After a year, he had to sell his own house to pay off the debt. Ironically, his final batch of clothes got donated to a shelter, where rescue dogs now walk around in designer gear. He says at least someone's living in style. 24, a guy from Michigan won $12 million and decided to buy a professional basketball team. The problem was he could only afford a local high school team. He paid them salaries, bought golden uniforms, and demanded they call him Coach Cash. The school board shut it down after 3 games. His investment turned into community service hours for yelling at kids during timeouts. The kids still remember him, though, mostly for losing every game and giving them diamond water bottles. 25, a woman in Los Angeles won $16 million and built a luxury spa just for her cats. She hired a staff of 10, added heated beds, massage rooms, and a fish-shaped pool. She live-streamed the whole thing and charged fans to watch. For a few weeks, she went viral. Then her cats destroyed everything during a zoomies fight that flooded the spa. Damages totaled $2 million. She called it the most expensive purr in history. Now her cats sleep in cardboard boxes again, proving even rich pets have 9 financial lives. 26, a man in Florida won $20 million and decided to become a social media influencer overnight. He bought followers, rented a mansion, and filmed motivational videos saying money doesn't change you. Within a month, people realized the house was Airbnb and his sports car was a rental too. He spent millions chasing clout that never came. When the money ran out, he tried selling online courses called How to Stay Rich. Nobody bought them. He now lives with his parents, still filming videos from their garage, pretending it's a studio. The only thing he influenced was his own downfall. 27, a woman in California won $10 million and immediately opened a yoga retreat for rich people. She had no experience with yoga, but loved the idea of spiritual business. She built a glass dome in the desert with air conditioning so loud it drowned out meditation. She charged thousands for peaceful silence and accidentally booked a heavy metal band for the grand opening. Reviews called it the loudest inner journey ever. Within months, it shut down. She now runs online yoga classes from her living room, trying to manifest her money back. 28, a man from Ohio won $13 million and bought a mansion shaped like a giant shoe because he wanted to live in style. He filled it with designer sneakers and golden shoelaces. The novelty wore off fast when tourists started showing up to take pictures every day. The smell of rubber and humidity made it unbearable. The city called it an eyesore, and he had to pay thousands in fines. He eventually sold it to a footwear company for $1 just to stop the headaches. His big step into luxury turned into a giant misstep. 29, a guy in New Jersey won $15 million and spent $2 million building an underwater restaurant. The only problem, he lived in a landlocked town with no coastline. He dug a giant tank, filled it with water, and built glass walls for the dining area. The place leaked on day one. Guests had to eat while water dripped from the ceiling. It shut down faster than dessert could be served. He blamed engineering issues, but everyone blamed stupidity. The sign outside still says, "Open soon," 10 years later. 30, a woman in New York won $8 million and spent almost half of it on cosmetic surgery. She wanted to look like a human Barbie. She changed her nose, chin, and even her eye color. For a few months, she loved the attention until one side of her face stopped moving completely. The surgeries caused nerve damage, and the doctor refused to fix it. She spent her last few thousand trying to sue him and lost. Now she does makeup tutorials on TikTok, teaching people how to contour their mistakes away. Beauty might be pain, but this was financial agony. 31. A man from Texas won $9 million and opened a museum of himself. It had photos, life-size statues, and even a hologram greeting visitors with his voice. He charged $50 for entry. Only 3 people came, and 2 were his cousins. The exhibits cost him everything, including his car. He tried adding snacks to attract visitors, but nobody wanted to eat in a room full of his face. He closed it down and now rents the building for birthday parties. He says it's a multifunctional success. Everyone else calls it the shrine of stupidity. 32, a woman in Arizona won $5 million and decided to buy an entire ghost town. She said she wanted to bring it back to life. She built fancy hotels, added a fake sheriff, and even hosted cowboy weekends. The tourists came once, took photos, and never returned. The cost of maintaining the old buildings bankrupted her within 2 years. She now works at a diner near the same ghost town, telling tourists she once owned it. The ghost town got its name back for a reason. 33, a young man from Chicago won $11 million and spent it launching his own perfume brand called Winner. The bottles were shaped like golden dollar signs and the slogan was "Smell like success." The scent was so strong, people said it smelled like burnt cash and regret. Stores refused to sell it after a week. He had 20,000 unsold bottles in his garage, which he now sprays to keep bugs away. He says it's still useful. From millionaire to air freshener, that's what success smells like sometimes. 34, a man in Pennsylvania won $25 million and built a roller coaster in his backyard. It was massive, loud, and went straight over his neighbor's fence. He ignored all permits, thinking money could fix everything. It couldn't. The ride broke down on the first day, trapping him upside down for 30 minutes. Firefighters rescued him while reporters filmed it live. He became an internet meme called Upside Down Millionaire. He later sold the coaster for scrap metal. Now his backyard is just a flat lawn and a lot of regret. 35, a woman in Oregon won $9 million and decided to marry herself in a televised ceremony. She bought a dress worth $500,000, invited guests, and even hired a priest to officiate. She said she wanted to commit to self-love. The show aired once and was roasted online. Afterwards, she tried selling her wedding footage as a documentary, but no one bought it. The only thing she kept was the cake, which she ate alone. The marriage lasted one day before she divorced herself to save money. Self-love might be powerful, but self-expense was her downfall. 36. A man in Florida won $8 million and decided to start his own religion. He called it the Church of the Jackpot. His main rule was that everyone had to wear gold tracksuits and pray to a giant slot machine he built in his backyard. People joined at first just for free food and cash giveaways, but soon the IRS came knocking. He claimed his gold car was holy transportation. They disagreed. The church closed in 6 months, and he ended up fined for tax fraud. His followers moved on to a yoga group, and he moved back into his mom's house. The only thing divine about him was his ability to lose money fast. 37. A woman in New York won $12 million and tried to make her cat famous. She bought the cat a mansion, its own chef, and a full-time social media team. The cat had more followers than her at first, but when the videos stopped being cute, people unfollowed. She started faking dramatic cat storylines, like the heartbreak of losing a goldfish. Eventually, her cat scratched her during a live stream, and the clip went viral for the wrong reason. Sponsors dropped her, and she lost nearly everything. Now the cat lives with her ex and has its own new page called Rich and Free. The only thing she kept was the litter box. 38. A guy in Las Vegas won $25 million and built a nightclub shaped like a giant champagne bottle. It looked incredible, but the acoustics were so bad every song sounded like karaoke underwater. He paid DJs millions to fix the sound, but it never improved. The crowd hated it, and one reviewer called it the loudest echo chamber of regret. The club closed within a year. He tried reopening it as a juice bar, but nobody wanted smoothies in a champagne bottle. He finally turned it into a storage warehouse and now rents it to party planners. From champagne dreams to cardboard reality, the only thing still bubbling is his regret. 39. A man in Texas won $10 million and spent half of it on a single billboard that said, "I am better than my ex." He rented it for 2 years in the middle of town just to annoy her. She moved away after a month, leaving him paying $6,000 a week for no reason. When the billboard expired, the company replaced it with an ad for discount divorces. Everyone laughed except him. He spent his last few dollars trying to buy the billboard outright but failed. In the end, he learned 2 things. Love hurts and pettiness costs rent. 40. A woman from Arizona won $9 million and built a luxury daycare for plants. She hired botanists, bought sound systems that played classical music, and installed mist machines for leaf relaxation. She charged $100 a day for people to leave their houseplants there while they went to work. The idea made headlines but not profits. Within a year, she ran out of money and turned the building into a storage unit for old soil bags. Her plant spa sign still hangs outside, faded by the sun. The only thing that grew there was her disappointment. 41. A man in Kentucky won $15 million and decided to buy an island. The catch, it was an unfinished artificial island meant for construction. He named it Freedom Bay and built a single hut with a satellite dish. There was no power, no plumbing, and no neighbors. He told everyone he was living off-grid. After 2 weeks, a storm destroyed everything. Rescue boats found him holding a broken generator and a soggy sandwich. He returned home broke, but called it a spiritual success. Locals now call that island Freedom's Mistake. 42. A woman in California won $20 million and decided to turn her life into a reality show. She hired a film crew, wrote her own script, and called it My Perfect Life, but she was terrible at acting. The crew quit halfway through, saying the drama was too boring. She tried editing it herself, spending thousands learning software she didn't understand. When it finally aired online, the views came mostly from people making fun of it. She deleted the channel but kept the theme song as her ringtone. Now she works part-time teaching drama at a local community center. 43. A man in Michigan won $11 million and bought an entire ghost ship at auction. He planned to turn it into a haunted cruise experience. The ship looked amazing, but leaked like crazy. The first voyage lasted 2 hours before it had to return to dock. The guests demanded refunds and posted videos online calling it Titanic 2. The repair costs drowned him financially. Now the ship sits abandoned in a harbor with graffiti that reads, "Still sinking." His dreams of sailing success went straight to the bottom. 44. A woman in Georgia won $5 million and decided to fund her lifelong dream of becoming a rapper. She recorded an album called Lotto Queen. Her lyrics were all about taxes and shopping sprees. The songs went viral for being hilariously bad. People made memes out of every line, and she leaned into it, thinking fame was on her side. She spent everything touring small bars that stopped booking her after one show. Now she raps on social media for fun while working at a clothing store. She says she's still in the game, but the only record she broke was her savings account. 45. A man from Colorado won $6 million and became convinced he could speak to dolphins. He built a communication center near the ocean with giant underwater speakers. Scientists tried to explain that dolphins didn't need financial advice, but he didn't care. He spent millions broadcasting inspirational speeches into the water every day. One day the speakers broke and the dolphins swam away for good. Tourists still visit the empty dock where he stands yelling, "Believe in yourself," into the waves. He says the dolphins ghosted him, but they probably just evolved faster. 46. A man from California won $10 million and became obsessed with proving time travel was real. He built a massive metal machine in his backyard using junkyard parts and old microwaves. He sat inside for hours waiting to jump through time. Neighbors thought it was a barbecue until it exploded. The blast destroyed half his lawn and most of his eyebrows. When firefighters asked what happened, he said he almost made it to the future. The only future he reached was a court date for reckless damage. Now he gives motivational speeches called, "Don't Let Science Stop You." The dumbest part is someone actually paid for tickets. 47. A woman in Texas won $12 million and decided to clone her dead pet parrot. She hired a shady scientist overseas who promised to bring it back for $500,000. 6 months later, she received a small box with what looked like a lizard wearing feathers. She claimed it looked just like him and built a golden cage anyway. The creature escaped 2 days later, causing panic in her neighborhood. Animal control said it was just a died iguana. She now tells everyone she owns the first talking reptile. The internet calls her the bird lady, and she calls herself a visionary. Either way, both are broke. 48. A man in New Jersey won $20 million and decided to build a life-size replica of the Titanic in his backyard pool. He invited hundreds of guests for a voyage party. The pool was only 5 feet deep, and the replica sank in less than a minute. Guests screamed while the band kept playing just like the movie. He filmed everything and posted it online, calling it an artistic recreation. The video went viral, but so did the lawsuits from injured guests. His ship of dreams turned into a flood of debt. Now his neighbors call him Captain Clueless, and his backyard still smells like regret and chlorine. 49. A woman from Florida won $30 million and thought ghosts were stealing her money. She hired paranormal investigators, bought ghost-proof safes, and even installed motion sensors for invisible thieves. She spent over $1 million trying to protect her fortune from spirits. Turns out her nephew was stealing cash the whole time. When police arrested him, she told reporters the ghost made him do it. Now she hosts online ghost hunting streams using fake fog and spooky music, still insisting her fortune vanished supernaturally. The only thing truly haunting her now is her bank balance. And that's it. 49 lottery winners who went from jackpot to joke. They didn't just lose money, they lost logic, pride, and sometimes their eyebrows. Winning the lottery doesn't make you rich, it just gives stupidity a bigger budget. So here's the real question. If you won the lottery tomorrow, what's the dumbest thing you'd do first? Tell me in the comments before you spend it all in your imagination.